Hello, welcome. You have discovered the Marry Your Best Friend podcast. I'm John Stewart, and I am sitting next to the most beautiful woman I think I've ever met, and my wife of 34 years. Suzanne, welcome to your own podcast.
My own.
I haven't pointed to you yet, so your mic's not on. But I'm John, this is my wife Suzanne, and one of us takes a lot of pills.
All of us take a lot of pills.
We do all take a lot of pills, don't we?
We are the pharmaceutical family.
Well, so that's what this podcast is about, actually, Suzanne, is we're going to talk about pills and the pharmacy culture and what our life would be like without pills. And you're the one who primarily... Did you know that the majority of women make all the healthcare decisions in the family? Did you know that?
I would say yes from experience.
Yes, for sure. So let's talk pharmacies, let's talk pills, let's talk big pharma, let's talk insurance and all things.
Wow, look at you. You have notes.
I have 1 page of notes. Well, no, because ever since we did the podcast where you said that I have rules and I felt totally out of control because you had a book that had a bunch of notes. So now I have my own notes.
Okay.
I know, you're freewheeling it.
I'm freewheeling it because I know everything about the drugs.
That's good. Mm-hmm. It is good. So this is podcast number 12. One thing, Suzanne, we are not very consistent with our podcast. We started this thing back in like March or whatever.
Time.
Well, but we should do one. Like, I was at a conference recently, and they were talking about building your social media presence, and our 50 followers.
Do we have 50?
We actually have a little over 50 now.
Wow, I'm kind of impressed with ourselves.
I know, and I did see that somebody from Asia has been listening to the podcast as well. So that's truly global, because you already knew we had Europe and Africa. And now we have somebody in Southeast Asia.
Wow, so we are reaching the masses.
It's probably somebody who was packaging something that we ordered online, did a search, and found it. But anyway, can you imagine what our life would be like without pills? I mean,
I have lived our life without pills, and it is not fun.
So way before we had kids, when I was a child, you may not believe this, Suzanne, but my parents, the way that they dealt with my energy was to give me a pill. Did you know that?
Well, I thought they just sent you from neighbor to neighbor to neighbor, and you just wore out each kid, and then...
There is truth to that. Yeah, that I would wear out each kid.
When they would get tired, then they would send you to the next house in the block.
And the other thing that they did
and every
was
camp.
The teacher would promote me to another class. But no...
Mrs. Boogerstaff.
This is when her name was Biggerstaff. I called her Booger.
You were awful.
But when I was a kid, though, it was bad because I took Ritalin. And Ritalin was a medication, and the teachers.
Is.
I know, but the teachers weren't as how do you say well trained or considerate. It would be like, "Hey, John, time to take your pill" in front of the whole class. And
well, that's all that was available back then, too.
Yeah, but the teachers would be like, "This is John's calm down pill. John, go take your pill." Like they would even say what the pill was for.
We called moms when we were kids. We called mom's pill, her "Don't Kill Us" pill.
Don't kill us pill. I don't know if your mom's listening to the podcast, but I'm not going to.
She takes the same thing today she took 40-something years ago. Yeah.
Really? Prozac?
Actually, I take it. So does your daughter.
No, but
we all take it.
So I had an experience with Ritalin as a kid, and I never really liked the way it made me feel.
Our boys can't take Ritalin.
They can't?
Julianne either. But I mean, they tried. That's the first thing that they give you when you go through your trials, because it's really, you got to find the right cocktail for what works for you, and our boys can't take it. Like, it did the opposite.
Do you remember that TV show that had the 7 kids? It's like a Catholic family had 7 kids, and the kid came home from school, and the school told him that he had asthma.
Yeah.
And what did the mother say?
We can't afford asthma. You don't have asthma. We can't
you don't
afford
afford asthma. So imagine. Yeah. So I guess we can afford medication for our kids. But I took Ritalin. I didn't like the way it made me feel. What I found out later as an
My
adult.
brother didn't like that either. He said it made him sad.
Well, and it's interesting because maybe you can talk to your brother about this. I found out later in life that those kids like me who were on Ritalin had a different chemical structure when it came to addictive personalities.
Absolutely.
So, like, you go to a Cocaine
my
Anonymous
brother has
meeting.
talked about that.
Well, you go to a Cocaine Anonymous meeting, and there'll be like one person saying, "Oh, I lost my wife, I lost my kids." The next one, "I lost my job, I lost everything." The guy who's on Ritalin just said, "I just took cocaine because it made me
Feel normal.
feel like I used to." And the studies are showing that whatever the medication. Now, I should go ahead and give a disclaimer here. Suzanne and I, neither one of us have any medical background whatsoever. So
good Lord.
If we talk about a medication, you go, "Wow, Suzanne makes that sound really great. I'm going to try that." No, go talk to your doctor.
I have 3 children, 2 of which are on the spectrum, one with major anxiety and lots of medical conditions. I have been to all the doctors. I've been in every IEP, teacher, counselor, therapist, you name it. I've done it. I've lived it. We've figured it out.
But you're also a pill hoarder. Meaning, hold on, I should say what I said. Every one of my friends who ever has been sick, broken a leg, gone to the hospital, you're always like, wait, don't throw away your medication when you're done.
Yeah.
Like you're like, hey, what did they give you? Hydrocodone. Ooh, can you just say when you're done? I'm going to pray for your healing, and then you don't need those pills. Don't throw the pills away. Give them to me. You have a pill collection.
True.
One of our biggest things in a marriage, though, you think that you can prescribe me pills. Like if I don't feel well, you go, "Here, take a few of these," and I'm like,
that is a big exaggeration.
It is not. You always try to
take a few.
You take this. I have this. And I'm like, I can't take that medication because my name is not on the bottle.
You're a weirdo. You won't take more than...
Once again, if I took calls right now, does anybody think it's a good idea to take pills out of Suzanne's purse? That
people do it all the time. I have a backache. Oh, you know what? I got muscle relaxers in my purse.
What I don't understand too is the whole insurance thing when it comes to pills.
Oh, that just makes me mad.
Pick a medication. Let's say it's whatever, Adderall. And you go to the hospital or you go to the pharmacy, and if you have insurance, your copay may be $5, maybe $10.
Not anymore.
But they bill whatever it is. But then they're billing $400 to insurance.
Can I just tell you?
But if you go to them and say, "I don't have insurance, but I have this," those aren't credit cards, but I have this Good RX card, they'll go, "Oh, well, you can get it for $100. Why are they billing an insurance company $400 when they'll sell it to me directly for $100?
Okay, let me just tell you this little scenario. Okay, so we have 3 children. One takes care of his own Vyvanse, but they all
remember, all 3 of these children are older, and
Yes.
they're all from my wife's first marriage. To keep going.
They all 3 take the Vyvanse, okay? And they have... Well, the boys have taken it. I know they've taken it for more than 10 years, probably 12 at least. So I'm accustomed to this. I know how much it is. When they started taking it, there was no generic or anything like that. And we paid through the roof. Your insurance wouldn't pay for it at first. Then they paid a little bit for it. Now, if you go, because I'm going through this every month. If you go and ask for the generic, which has just become available in the last month or so. If you ask for the generic or the doctor prescribes that and they don't have that, they won't give you the brand name.
Really?
Unless the doctor calls back with another prescription with the brand name. And now they told me just last week that they have raised the price of brand name Vyvanse because of the generic. So now it costs $480 if you were just to go and buy Vyvanse and you had no insurance, or $100 for the name brand if they're out of the generic.
Well, the other thing I don't get is like if you need,
which is free.
Let's say you need 20 grams of something or 20, whatever it is. Let's say you need 20, but the pill can come in an 80. Can your doctor just go ahead and give you the 80 so you can just cut it up into the 20?
That's what we do.
I mean, that's probably not legal.
Yeah, it is, because if it doesn't come, because we've got kids that just need like maybe a 5 milligram more of something, but it only comes in a 10, so you just break it in half. That's common practice.
Well, think about as it relates to medication. What's some of your favorite medication? Or like, what do you like? Ooh, that's good stuff.
Ativan.
Ativan, what is that? I have no idea what that is.
Well, he switched me from it. It's for my anxiety and my panic attacks and stuff, but it just it doesn't like knock me out, or it doesn't, if I took it at night, then I would just rest, because it makes my mind kind of stop poking at me 24/7. But I can't take it in the daytime, because then I don't get things done.
So how does it make you feel when a fad comes around and people start getting a medication that you need, or a medication's out just because somebody's using it for an alternate use? Like right now, everybody's losing weight because they're taking Ozempic, and before that, people who were studying, they were taking Adderall in order to get better. Supermom, like what?
It sets me on fire. I can't even tell you how mad this makes me, because every single month I go to get the Vyvanse for our kids, and I have
they need it.
One child specifically who cannot function at his job without it. Like, we have had extensive discussions with his boss when we've had issues getting the medication, that he has to have it. He has a medical issue.
Is it not available?
No, back order everywhere. Every single month, I go to a different pharmacy, and it's just a crapshoot to find this medication. And every single time, because it's controlled, I have to get a hold of the doctor, and I have to have them call. Plus, they won't fill it because it's controlled. They won't fill it until about 3 days before you need it. So that means I can't call around and find a pharmacy, because they won't fill it. I've called and I've said,
okay, is that somebody sitting in a cubicle at CVS going, we're only going to fill the pills 3 days before they come out? I mean,
because it's controlled, and they don't want people to get a hold of it and then sell them to high school kids, which is completely understandable. If you didn't need them anymore, you joke about being a pill hoarder, but people really do this. They get these controlled substances, and then they sell them to kids who want to take finals and want to take Adderall or Vyvanse or whatever it is and pass their finals. But then my kid, who needs it to get through his day, I can't find it anywhere. And when I can find it, it's $480. And that is not fair.
Well, so let's think about the reason why people take. I mean, obviously, we're talking about drugs that help our kids function and help us function, all that kind of stuff. I know that there are a lot of weight loss drugs, and I remember the phase when Fen-Phen came out. Remember the Fen-Phen?
And we knew people that died from that.
I know, but I took Fen-Phen.
You did not.
Well, there for a little bit, we were all excited about getting Fen-Phen.
You did not take it. You just knew people that took it.
A certain gospel singer and I both took it.
Yeah, you did not.
She did too.
I knew she did, but you didn't.
I did.
Whatever.
That's why I was so thin and sexy during that period of time. But
I don't remember you being thin and sexy.
You know what's interesting, though, is I read in the Wall Street, I was thin and sexy at one point in my life. You just didn't know.
There were a lot of points in your life that you were thin and sexy.
Thanks to Fen-Phen. So listen,
I've been fat and I've been thin, and I don't know which one I like better.
The latest, I read this in the Wall Street Journal, that the weight loss drugs that are helping everybody right now, the Ozempic and the Semaglutide or whatever it's called.
That shot, it's right. Yeah. It's a shot.
So they're selling so much of it. I mean, they're just cranking this thing out. That in the Wall Street Journal, it reported that weight loss drug wealth is showing up in charitable giving right now. What that means is, it says nonprofit foundations aligned with Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are now among the largest in the world due to a surging sales of drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy.
Oh, Wegovy.
Wegovy and Mounjaro. The Wall Street Journal reports.
Mounjaro.
Says, Novo Nordisk. Okay, I could make a living doing nothing but coming up with stupid names for medications.
Oh,
by the
right.
way. I mean, they make these words up.
Saturday Night Live skits.
Are there?
Okay,
so Novo Nordisk Foundation now has $114 billion in assets, and Lilly Endowment has quadrupled in value to $40 billion, making it the second largest U.S. foundation after the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And they're accrediting all that revenue growth to weight loss drug wealth. So all the fat people who are shooting themselves with a shot are actually doing good because these foundations have more money to give away. So that makes you feel better.
But some people are taking this, though, because they have health issues and they have to lose the weight. And that I understand. What I don't understand is that you're like, eating keto stinks, which it does. I mean, my gosh, look at Liz. 40 pounds. She looks fantastic, but she doesn't eat bread, man. That keto bread, I tried it for like 2 days. It's like cardboard. I'm sorry. I'd just rather be fat.
This is one of my friends, or our friends, who has really worked hard, looks great. She's lost 40 pounds. For health reasons. Yeah, lost 40 pounds. She looks fantastic.
She feels better. Her numbers are all better. Her blood pressure's where it's supposed to be. All the good things. she's eating cardboard.
So we talk about weight loss drugs. What do you think are the top drugs? I have a list here. What do you think the top drugs are in America? Like what do you think the number one thing people?
The number one thing is probably like Adderall or something, right?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Prozac.
Nope. Prozac is not even on the top 10.
Really?
Yeah, just everybody it's in their top 10. Actually, all your
Yeah.
I'm not making any comments here.
Yeah,
but
Zoloft and Prozac have saved
the
our
number
lives.
one top 10 medication in the U.S. is a blood pressure medication.
Oh, well, I wouldn't doubt that.
Yes, it's Zestrol is I'm going to kill all these
Slaughter
names.
the names, I'm
Slaughter
sure.
the names, but Zestrol is a blood pressure medication. Coming in at number 2 is for hypothyroidism. Synthroid. Mm-hmm. More than Viagra. More than Adderall. All those things. Number 3, what do you think the next condition is?
Weight loss.
Oh.
No, heart medication.
High cholesterol.
Yeah.
High cholesterol is number 3. Lipitor is the top one there. Number 4, is that my phone ringing in the middle of the podcast?
I'm not shocked at all.
What's really interesting, though, is... Hold on. It shouldn't be ringing.
But do you see what I live with? I
No,
don't
but
want
I
you
have
to
it on Do
stop.
Not Disturb.
I don't want you to stop the podcast because this is my entire life. We're doing anything else,
I'd put it on Do Not Disturb.
and the phone rings
It's probably somebody who's in my...
in the middle of the night, at church, at your mom's senior center.
Okay, so number 3, high cholesterol. We're talking about high cholesterol.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be Lipitor. Number 4.
Did you take
this one.
Lipitor?
I did not take Lipitor.
Who
but
did you know that took Lipitor?
I think my dad or somebody.
Oh,
okay,
maybe.
number 4, metformin. Now,
I know a lot of people that take metformin.
physicians say that they think everybody should be on metformin.
Everybody really wants.
Because they said it does nothing but good things. It's for diabetes, but
but it makes Natalie couldn't take that. She said it made her real sick.
Interesting. Another
I've heard
statin drug
several
comes
people
in.
say that it makes them feel bad.
Comes in number 5, Zocor. I don't know that one for high cholesterol.
That one I've seen their stupid commercial.
Well, the next one's stupid commercials.
Is it the one?
Nope,
Is it your dance?
Nope, it's Prilosec.
Oh,
Prilosec for heartburn and ulcers.
Terrible. Okay, can I just tell you this?
I don't know what this means, but it's a proton pump inhibitor.
Okay, so
Lowers the amount of acid that the cells in the stomach.
Jules and I used to take that, and so did your dad. Mm-hmm. And your dad got off of it because it eventually eats away at your esophagus and all that.
Really?
Yeah, after you're not supposed to take it for a prolonged period of time, is what I understand, because they put Jules on it when she was really little and had all that reflux.
Interesting. Well, so
issues, and
7 and
she
8,
couldn't
both
take it
blood
very
pressure
long.
medications. Lopressor and Norvasc. Who comes up with these names? They just throw letters together, I think. Number 10's an inhaler.
Oh, well, we have many of those at our house.
Yeah. Well,
Albuterol.
You mentioned commercials. I wish that we were as happy as the people in the pharmaceutical ads. They're always smiling. They're always happy. Like, ooh. I mean, like...
and they never, you know what? They never show the people that have the side effects.
Well, that's true. But
They never show dry mouth or diarrhea or
I don't want to see either one of those.
hives or anything may cause sudden death.
But I wrote some of these commercials down just because I remember them. You mentioned Rebelsis.
You take that.
I do, but that's one of my favorite commercials.
Is that the dancing one?
Yeah, and it's a bunch of large people like me who are just kind of like doing the dance. And they do their hands up above their head, and it's like, we've got diabetes. And it's like they're all happy. They do. Rebelsis, and then Rinvoq. I don't know what Rinvoq is, but I see those commercials all the time. Trulicity.
Oh, yeah. I know that one.
Ozempic.
Ozempic.
Yes. I love that commercial. I love them all. I mean, Skyrizi. Do you think if I worked in a marketing agency and I came up, hey guys, I got it.
Skyrizi.
Yep.
That's a ticket.
Crohn's disease. Everybody who has Crohn's disease is going to know the name Skyrizi.
Yeah, well, and the generic names are even worse. I don't even know how to say the generic for the Vyvanse. I just know it starts with an L.
Well, here's a medication for moderate to severe plaque
psoriasis.
Plaque psoriasis. It is Sotyuxu. But
I feel sorry for folks that have,
these conditions are horrible. I'm just saying.
These conditions are horrible, and I feel so bad, though, that these drug companies kind of are preying on these people and, They have to have these things to get better.
I really feel like I've missed my calling, though. A marketing person is sitting in a cube right now at Lilly, here in Indy, coming up with the names like Monjero.
That's right. Lily is right here.
I mean, type 2 diabetes. Yeah, we're probably offending half the people we live around because we are in we got Roche people, we got Lilly people, but
we're right in the thick of it where we live. Yeah,
I could be sitting in a cube right now, coming up with 10 names for a type 2 diabetes drug. Well, like where do they come from? Well, these guys are large, like mountains, and Gero is a Peruvian name.
You're
for
just
losing
digging
weight.
yourself a hole, babe.
No, but where do they come up with these names?
I don't know.
Somebody is
gets
getting
paid big bucks.
Somebody's
to do
getting
it.
paid to come up with
Yeah.
that. I'm going to start telling people that's what I do. What do you do? I name drugs. Prilosec, that was one of mine.
Yeah.
Great one, 1986.
I think it's before that, but okay.
Do you think so? Yeah. So, I don't know if I've ever told you this. Do you know who Don Panos is? You ever hear Panos Automotive, or the guy about Road Atlanta? Anyway, he owned at Road Racing.
Road
Series
Atlanta, like
Petit Le Mans, all that stuff. I met him one time, and where he made all of his money was he was the guy that invented and patented the drug distribution through the patch.
Oh, we also used the patch here.
The nicotine patch.
Oh, the nicotine patch. No, none of it.
Patches have you ever used?
I don't. Jules uses a patch.
Oh. Well, anyway, so he's the guy who came up with that whole thing. Like, he made billions of dollars inventing the patch.
Well, that's pretty smart.
The nicotine. Well, he has no sense of humor. I'll just go ahead and tell you this right now, because I went up to him and I said, we're talking, and I said, let me ask you something. I said, why don't you come up, I get the nicotine, why don't you come up with like a men's patch? And he looked at me and I said, no, I'm serious. Like, if you put nicotine, Adderall, and Viagra, like all in one, put caffeine in there too, put all those in one patch. I said, I'd wake up in the morning, slap that baby on, I'd be ready for the day. That'd be like the male patch.
The male patch.
And he looked at me like, who are you, number one? And number two, he was like, well, it wouldn't work. Like, he was thinking through the reasons why that wouldn't work, why caffeine and nicotine and Viagra and Adderall wouldn't all work together. And I guess I'm a marketing guy. I'm like, I would buy the guy patch.
You want to call it the guy patch.
Guy patch. Not like a soul patch. Like, it has the thing,
little
your
beard hanging down.
Yeah, the man bun. Yeah, the bun patch.
Man bun. Just cut that baby off.
So, if you could invent any kind of a drug, what would you invent a drug for?
I don't know. There's so many for everything. I don't think anything. I think the I Need Jesus pill is what everybody needs.
The I Need Jesus pill?
The I Need Jesus pill, because...
Hold on. I did see today somebody is marketing bottled water with Jesus on the front of it. It's called Living Water.
Shut up.
I swear to you, it's true.
It cannot be true. You sit on a throne of lies.
I do not. But that phone right there that's videotaping us right now, videotaping. We're not using tape or video. But
videotaping. Are you 100?
No, but my Rolodex is. So I have a picture of it on that phone of Living Water. It's got Jesus'
That is
picture on it.
sad.
I know. Well, you just did the same thing, having a Jesus pill.
No,
what's a Jesus pill going to give you? Salvation?
I just think that we already have everything out there for all of our ailments, and apparently we're all still going to hell in a handbasket. So,
well, you may be, but I'm not. So
I'm going to hell in a handbag, a really nice handbag.
Okay, I get it.
No handbasket for me.
I'd love to have a pill that gives me more time.
Okay, have you watched that movie? That movie, no. That movie, it has Bradley Cooper in it.
No, I don't watch Bradley Cooper movies.
No, and it was a long time
Jennifer
ago.
Garner in it?
And you took the pill and it made you do all the things. Yeah, and it was bad.
If I could get like 48 hours in an 8-hour day, it'd be awesome. Like, I'd love to have my whole work week done in a day.
I'm already tired. I mean, the sun is going down right now, and I'm about ready to check out. And it's
I guess they probably do. They probably do have pills. Yeah, they probably do have pills that slow things down. But I'd like to get more done. I guess maybe that's what Adderall does for some people. But I wish I had more time. And they do have memory medication. I wouldn't mind having better memory. Like,
oh gosh, that I would invest in.
You would?
Yes, I can't remember anything. I'm not as mad as some people. But,
would you take a pill if you could understand other people's thoughts?
Oh, absolutely not.
You wouldn't?
I don't want to know what other people think.
Really? So if you walked up to me and you realized what I was actually thinking about you?
I'd probably throat punch you. Yeah, I don't want to know.
My feelings are loving when I see you.
Whatever. You're feeling, yeah. I know what you're feeling.
I would take a pill for more time, memory, pills for doing more podcasts. Like I wish, I'll pop a pill. Like, okay, let's get this thing done.
Yeah.
I really think so.
The podcast is not the problem; it's the setting up and the tearing down.
That's true. You may not realize
and never
this.
finding all the things that you need.
If you're listening to this podcast, at some point you might want to go to YouTube and watch the video. Not because I'm so dashingly handsome or my wife is beautiful, but because you will see the studios here at Stewart Farm Studios.
Stewart Farm Studios, yeah.
Stewart Farm Studios. We have an extensive, beautiful studio here, also known as our dining room.
Yes, and it is extensively decorated for the holidays right now.
It is. And the funny thing is all people can see is Suzanne's decorations are in liquor bottles. So back here,
have a lot of liquor
it's
bottles.
like, wait, don't throw away that Woodford Reserve. That'll make a great.
That's a great one, and they're different every year.
And then this year she's got the race themed Fuzzy's vodka with a bunch of greenery in it.
Yes. Got IndyCar themes.
Anyway, I was talking about the extensive, beautiful studio that we have here. Actually, I love doing the podcast here because this table is the table that our kids did 4-H projects on.
Yes.
Our kids have painted. We've done Thanksgiving dinner here.
Yeah, you can find spots all over this table and go, oh, I remember that. Yeah.
This table is part of our life, but in order for us to do a podcast, it involves us setting up microphones and setting up computers and cords everywhere and all that kind of fun stuff. I still haven't read the book on how to do a podcast.
Yeah. You bought the book, though.
I did. But hey, when we go into season 2 of our podcast, I'm going to be a professional.
3 days a week, I go to the door and I get excited that there's a package and it's some book that you have purchased.
I love reading.
You love to purchase books.
I got a new book today.
Think that, yeah. What book did you get today, my love?
I got a C.S. Lewis classic. So there you go.
Have you not read all of C.S. Lewis?
Oddly enough, yesterday I was eating and somebody mentioned a C.S. Lewis book and I was like, I don't think I've read that one.
Which one was it?
I will go get it in the other room, but it's basically about his life leading up to conversion.
You know, I took that class in college.
You took bowling in college.
Well, you had to take some physical education, so I took bowling and archery.
For your Master's of Arts degree, you took archery too?
Same semester, yeah. You had like 4 weeks of bowling and 4 weeks of archery. Yeah, it was so stupid. The
benefits of going to a Christian college.
Boom.
C.S. Lewis was a class.
Yes, it was.
Holy Spirit was a class too.
No, we didn't have Holy Spirit.
I had Holy Spirit as a class.
We didn't have that.
We had Old Testament survey.
I had Old
Testament,
Testament, New Testament.
You never had Holy Spirit as a class?
No, I had Revelation. Oh. I had...
The fire came in on week 3.
What? Was that you? Did you show up on week 3? You were the fire.
Hold my finger. It's in
homiletics.
Homiletics?
Is that not how you say it?
I don't think so.
Homiletics. I tell you, you know who knows?
Who knows?
Ben knows.
Yeah, our pastor is pretty. He's got a doctorate of theology. He teaches at Asbury, so he can.
I just knew that those were all my choices. I had to choose from all these that I didn't really know what they were.
The other funny thing about you is you love having friends who are nurses or somehow related inside of the medical community.
Oh, 100%. Texted Sherry today and said, my finger still hurts. And I texted her 2 pictures. And it's been a month. And she goes, think you might need to go get that checked out.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Like, what kind of a nurse
is she?
Pediatric infectious disease
nurse. So
So
somehow a pediatric infectious disease nurse is telling you what's wrong with your finger.
No, she's not. She's telling me to go get it x-rayed, and I don't want to.
The number one, we've had an episode where you talk about friend stealing and how you steal my friends, but I have one of the most lovely, awesome nurse practitioner friends who is one of my best friends.
I should call.
Oh, God.
I'll text her pictures of my finger. No, I'm going to the doctor.
And you stole her because you needed access. The fact that she can write scripts.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and she can send in medication. And
well, somebody gets UTIs and somebody gets vertigo. Didn't I get vertigo once and she told you how to do it? Like I had to lay on the bed and you had to do something weird to my head.
It worked. It got rid of it.
It was terrible.
But the funny thing is with you hear a medical condition and...
Oh, you love to say this, and it's so not true.
I'm not calling you a hypochondriac. I'm just saying you hear a medical condition, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I think I can feel that.
And that's not a hypochondriac? You're not calling me that?
I don't like that name.
Whatever.
You're my cherished
all
loved
the time. I'm not a hypochondriac. I just like to pinpoint what might be the issue.
There you go. So one thing, people who know us also know that we faith is an important part of our life, and an important part of our faith is we're going to talk about healing and healing ministries and things of that nature. Both of us, and you can correct me if you're different theologically than I am, but I believe that both of us believe that.
Quiet right now.
I believe that both of us believe that Jesus healed people when he was here on the earth.
I do.
We also both believe that the scripture that he's the same yesterday, today, and forever is true.
I do.
And that Jesus today, through the Holy Spirit, can still heal people here on earth.
I do.
That's why we pray for people and we ask for God to heal them and bring a special touch in their life and things of that nature, correct?
You got a smirk on your face, and I'm just waiting.
No, because I would love to know.
For what you're about to say.
My mother does not listen to this podcast, but she has an
Can you
amazing.
imagine if she figured out?
No, she doesn't know what a podcast is, but she, at times in her life, would be prayed for and believe in a healing and then stop taking her medication.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, here's somebody who's a person of strong faith.
Well, here's
we've experienced healing in our lives. We've experienced healing with our daughter. I mean, like
100.
Our daughter was going to go under the knife when she was an infant, and God healed her. Then there have been many times in our life that
She's alive today.
I will tell you,
we interceded
God
for
has healed our children. I went to a healing service this week. Now, you come from an upbringing of Pentecostal kind of upbringing where healing services were something you went to a lot, and there are a lot of
I don't really want to talk about.
no, but there are TV preachers who like go around and they do healing services. And some of that could be theatrical, some could be real. But I still believe that Jesus, in spite of the humanity of people, will heal people. And I've always told people, even though I may disagree with Benny Hinn 100% on things, if my mom's the one who has cancer and medication's not working and chemo's not working and prayer's not, I'll probably be the first person in line to take her to a healing crusade. But this healing thing that I went to this week, it was really great because the person who was leading the service, we were praying for different parts of different people's bodies and said, if you feel better, raise your hand. So people raised their hand and said, if you feel like you get healing. And then he would go, do not stop taking your medication. Go to your doctor, get tested. Do not stop.
Well, here's what
I think is actually pretty good.
Here's what my mother always told me, and I find it to be very true and very valid, is that God has given us physicians, and he has given us the tools to get better. That doesn't mean to abuse it. That doesn't mean to use it in the wrong way, use something for one thing where it's meant for another. That's not what it's for. But they are given to us so that we can, get better through, and it can be through other people. When I look at how much better our family is today versus 20 years ago, because we have listened to different authorities on different behavioral and medical, things about not just our kids, but about you and I as well. That's how we get better. Don't stop taking your meds, for goodness sake.
Well, and I mean, this isn't in my notes here. I'm sorry, but just don't be afraid. Go to the doctor. Take the medication. Go to therapy. Psychologists, they understand chemical imbalances and things of that nature. My mother, the reason why I said she wasn't on listening to podcasts, my mom has dealt with manic depression her entire life.
She's bipolar.
She's bipolar, and I would go through these times as a child where my mom would be at extreme highs, and she would be up 20 hours a week or 20 hours a day and doing all kinds of stuff. And she was amazing. She'd cook stuff, she'd make stuff, sewing, all this kind of stuff. And then I also dealt with it when she was on the down. And she was always up or down or up or down. It was really hard in our household. And then when she would take her medication, it would be really even. And, she at 80 or 90 years of age now, she still takes medication. She takes medication for health. She takes medication for these things. And, it's that thin line of wanting to be healed, believing that God is our great physician. God can touch you. The other thing they said, the healing service this week that I really liked was he said, don't be envious of other people when they receive a healing. It's like just because somebody is dealing with something for 30 years and God never touches them and heals them of that condition doesn't mean that he doesn't love you and have a plan for your life. We have no idea why he heals one and doesn't heal another.
Well, also, do not be afraid to go to therapy.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I mean, it could be, if you won't go to, a regular psychiatrist, psychologist, go to but be careful, man, when you just go to a counselor. There are some goofballs out there.
That's true.
You got to do your research. And that's one thing I got to pat myself on the back about, is that I'm not just going to go to a therapist because they go to my church, or because, they're under the guise of Children's Christian, hospital, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to do my research about people, about medication, about whatever syndrome we're talking about this week,
Your neck's getting all red, so I love it when you're ready to get red, because we start talking about Jesus or something of that nature, and like, here we're going.
Red?
Yeah, you're getting a little red.
Sunburn?
But I mean, we're talking about medication, but one of the things I love to do is I love to pray for people.
About
I love to pray for people. I love to pray for healing. I love to pray for when people are sick. Now, my dad, man, I'm telling you, the people that prayed for my dad, people prayed for your dad. Thousands of people were praying for your dad when he was dealing with COVID and there towards the end. And I mean, earnest prayers from around the world. We were getting letters from people saying, or emails and things saying, we're praying for Big John. We're praying for Big John. People who believed in his healing. And we did. Up until that very last moment, we believed that God could have supernaturally touched him.
Yeah.
And same thing with my dad. My dad dealt with bladder cancer, and, we wanted a miracle. In his situation, it's oddly enough, the medication that he needed wasn't available because of COVID and all the distribution stuff. And
I think in your dad's situation, I think that the medication that they did give him probably accelerated
some of it. But
downfall.
But the whole thing is, we've seen, I say that saying that in both of those cases where we spent a lot of time praying, and one of the good things about Facebook is going back through Facebook memories and seeing people, when it's coming up to both of those anniversaries, and just seeing the posts that people had and the things, and those prayers weren't wasted, and we are praying people. When my friends are sick,
we're praying people. We're a people.
You and me are a people group.
We're a people group.
Two of us.
We're a people.
We're unreached. No, we're reached. But it's just an honor to pray for people. And theologically, I do believe that we are lifting up our friends in prayer and asking God to heal them. And I wish that more of our friends would accept the fact that, because pills aren't always the answer. If you're playing with a chainsaw and you cut your leg, go to the hospital. But as you are facing, I had a friend this week that found out some bad news and just needed prayer. And I want to pray for people who are dealing with disease and things of that nature. So anyway, if you're a friend of ours, you can always ask us to pray. Suzanne will go, I meant to pray about that, but
that's not true.
You do pray, don't you?
I do everything in my own way.
One of my favorite conversations with Jay Daniel, if you remember, was asking, when I asked him how his prayer life is going, he goes, I talk to God every day. I said, really? What do you pray to God about? And he goes, well, mostly you.
I think we both must pray about the same thing.
Well, he then explained it later, saying it's because
for safety.
I travel and all that kind of stuff.
All right.
So anything else you want to say about pharmacies, pills, anything of that nature?
Well, all I know is...
Once again, we've talked like 35 minutes about nothing.
That's like a Seinfeld episode.
It is.
And
once again, the number one notes that I get back on the podcast is Suzanne needs to be more funny. Like, we need to let her talk.
I need to be more funny?
No, you're funny, meaning I need to let you talk more.
Oh, well, that doesn't ever seem to happen now, does it?
Well, let's see how that episode went where all you talked about was my bad stuff.
It was fantastic.
It was number 8 in the most viewed.
In the most viewed?
Yeah. So
all right.
Hey, we are talking about changing our podcast a little bit for season 2.
We are?
We are. Yep. Season 2.
I love how I just get to be consulted on all
No. We talked about, let's do season 1. Let's get through some topics. And then season 2, since this whole thing is about Marry Your Best Friend podcast. I love being married to my best friend. Do you still think I'm your best friend?
Yeah. I think we've strayed away from that for the last few.
Have we?
A little bit.
Well, so since it's a Marry Your Best Friend podcast, I thought that'd be fun if we had some other couples on here talking that.
You want to do a call in?
I don't know about a call in. I wouldn't mind having some other people join us. I wouldn't mind having a couple.
A couple?
Join us at the table and talk about their marriage.
Wow.
Yeah.
That might get somebody in trouble.
Well, but it might make us feel better about our marriage. I mean, because... Well, Suzanne and I always argue about things that I don't like at the house. She goes, you never go into anybody else's house. You don't know how messy their kitchen is.
That's so true.
You don't know how this is. And I'm like, well, the houses I go into, it looks pretty clean. And
it's because you've been invited for dinner or you've been invited to do blah, blah, blah. You don't just show up. You don't just walk into somebody's house.
Okay, somebody did tell me today, my friend Eric in Oklahoma, he said his wife read your post about Christmas and she loved it. She loves you and the whole fact that you're just kind of enjoying Christmas. You want people to stop by. You're not.
Do you know what? At my greens workshop, I was cracking Kim up because I was like doing stuff, and I said my motto this year is good enough.
Good enough.
Good enough. You know, it might not be perfect, but it's good enough. I sprayed those flowers out there today, and they looked pretty great until I ran out of the spray paint. And so,
time out.
Did
You got to roll back.
Get more?
This does not sound like
enough.
a normal. I sprayed those flowers today with spray paint.
I did. Yeah. So the deal is like if you have like mums that are dying from fall, then kind of
normally you just throw away because the mums are dead.
Yeah. So you add it with your Christmas greens.
Yes.
You know, and I've got some that were like not quite dead. You know, they still had color and everything, and they were big. So I thought, well, I'm gonna do what the trend is or whatever, and I went and got a can of silver spray paint and just went to town. Yeah, and I ran out.
Was it good enough?
It's gonna be good enough. If you see it from the front, it's good, but like right here, I'm looking out and they are still yellow.
Well, yeah, the backside. The great thing about the Stewart Farm Studios is we can look out and see a donkey, a pony, and a horse, all kind of playing, and you can see the backside of her silver painted flowers.
I might go tomorrow because it might bother me that it's not finished, but the concept is good. Yeah, and so things that are not like absolutely perfect, it's my challenge to myself. My challenge to myself is to say that is good enough. It is good enough. It does not have to be absolutely perfect because absolutely perfect drives me crazy. Because I think about it all the time. And then
you end up ruining the whole...
I ruin the whole thing because I'm so mad because it's not perfect. So I'm just going to say, that's good enough. It's good enough. And I think it is good enough. I think everything looks good and I'm happy and it's cozy and...
Okay, so on our next podcast, guess what our next podcast is? So, the next season of our podcast, we're
ending. This is the season end.
We're not ending season. No. This is we're still going. No,
it's funny how I don't know what's happening until
our first
you
season
tell me
was
what's
our
happening.
first season. Whenever we got the equipment, we'll end it after a year. We'll probably be 14 episodes. This is like episode 13. So let's say we have another 1 or 2 left.
You might need to consult your book on that.
You think so? Okay. I don't know what a season is, but anyway, what I was going to tell you though is I do like the idea of inviting some of the couples in here and having some conversation.
Yeah, I like that.
And finding out is our marriage as screwed up as we think it is, or is it better than theirs?
We don't have to be, but remember, we don't have to blame.
Our marriage is good enough.
Our marriage is good enough. I don't want to kill you in your sleep, and I think you look cute, so we're good.
That's good enough.
That's good enough.
I don't know if I like this good enough.
I'm not saying everything has to be just good enough. I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm not going to kill myself if that bow is a little awry,
I'm going to enjoy Christmas this year.
Yeah, it's all about peace, love, and joy. And that's what I want to make it. I don't want to make... Thanksgiving was hard on me this year.
Yeah.
I did not have a good Thanksgiving.
Neither did I. You didn't make a pecan pie.
Oh, my God.
Well, did we already have a podcast since Thanksgiving, or is this the first one since?
This is the first one.
I'm about to take some more medication because I just opened another can.
Yeah, you're about to need a Tylenol because you're going to open a can of
All right, so
whoop-ass.
real quick, you didn't make a pecan pie. So every year at Thanksgiving, Suzanne fixes the same meal, whether there's 30 people here or 3. And this year we had a smaller gathering. There were
I'm a
only
right
5
good
of us.
cook.
You are a right good. You're good enough.
I'm better than good enough.
Okay, well, no, but you make the same spread. We get turkey. We get all the side.
It's
pretty awesome.
It's
pretty great.
normal.
But you make pecan pie, and you make a pumpkin pie, and you make a coconut cream pie, And then,
and if John Andrew is here, he gets an apple.
He gets an apple pie, and then we always get a
pain in
cake
my
from
ass, so if
Taylor's.
he's not here,
we get a
we don't.
cake from Taylor's that's
Yes.
shaped like a turkey. That's our dessert.
That's J. Daniels.
And this year we had 5 people here, and
it was.
and my lovely bride asked my mother, my 90-year-old mother, Mary, what would you call her mom, I guess.
No, I call her Grandma.
Grandma, what would you like this year for Thanksgiving? And she said, well, I like chocolate. So
She likes chocolate everything.
Yeah, I like chocolate. So you racked your brain and said, I'm going to go make a chocolate pie. And you found a great recipe. Everybody said it was awesome, but I didn't realize until the day before when I started counting the pies that meant that you weren't making pecan. So
Seriously.
So I invited, who invited my mom? And I mean, my mother being at our dinner table is great, but I didn't realize I was going to lose pecan pie. So you were upset that I said that. You told me to go buy a store-bought pie and all this kind of stuff. We show up, we're at the dinner table. There's
How
only
much
5
pie
of
do
us.
you need?
Well, I like a little sliver of each. But anyway, you've made this special pie for my mom, and you look at my mom after dinner and you say, Grandma, can I get you a piece of pie? Well, that sounds great. What kind would you like? What'd she say?
Pecan. You just love that, don't you?
I do. Yep.
And I cut her a big fat piece of chocolate pie and
she
said,
loved
here you
it.
go.
She didn't remember.
Here's what
saying.
you're going to have.
All right. So our next podcast, please join us on our next podcast. We're going to be talking about dating and dating apps. We are, and I am excited about this. We are going to work on each other's if we were single dating profile. Seriously, I'm gonna name a few.
Run, Forrest, run.
I would not say that to anybody but you. No, but if I were taken from this earth tomorrow, I'm going to write what your Farmers Only ad would be like. I'm going to write what your Bumble ad would be like.
I don't want any of that.
And then what your Tinder ad would be like.
I don't want any of that.
We're going to write each
awful.
other's, hey, we're going to come at it and we're going to create each other's dating profile if we weren't alone. Or if we were alone.
They can just read my notes on your rules. I think that would probably
First off,
set you up.
I'm going to go through a whole social media purge if you're no longer with me, because that one podcast is going to stop Jennifer Garner from ever wanting to marry me. One podcast, you're done.
One podcast, you're done.
Yeah. So the next episode, I've talked to some of my single friends, and they taught me about. Cliff gave me. He said, "Let me tell you the apps that people are using today." So I've got them down, and we're going to discuss dating.
Word.
Yeah.
Why do we need to talk about that?
Because it'll be fun.
It's not fun.
You are the best at promoting your own podcast. This is going to suck.
This is so bad.
It's good enough.
It's good enough. Pick a different topic.
No. Oh my gosh. Last time you said that, it was about your mother, and then we had to wait for 3 months till you actually got here.
No, that was because you were gone.
Okay.
Oh, you're cutting me off. You're
so
doing the
done.
music like the awards. Oh,
I'm playing off. Join us next time on the Marry Your Best Friend podcast, when we're going to be talking about dating apps, what Suzanne would be like if she were back on the market, and her Farmers Only ad. I do love you.
You gonna take me to dinner?
Let's go.